Rex. Since every family has its black sheep, it almost follows that every man must have a sooty uncle. Lucky if he hasn't too. However, it's only with my mother's brother that we are concerned. She loved him dearly when he was a little blond boy. When he grew up black, she was always vowing she would never speak to him again. Yet when he put in an appearance after years of absence, she invariably received him in a festive mood, and was even flirty with him. He rolled up one day in a dog cart when I was a small boy. He was large and bullet-headed and blustering, and this time sporty. Sometimes he was rather literary, sometimes coloured with business, but this time he was in checks and was sporty. We viewed him from a distance. The upshot was we would rear a pup for him. Now, my mother detested animals about the house. She couldn't beat the mix-up of human with animal life, yet she consented to bring up the pup. My uncle had taken a large, vulgar public house in a large and vulgar town. It came to pass that I must fetch the pup. Strange for me, a member of the Band of Hope, to enter the big, noisy, smelly plate glass and mahogany public house. It was called the Good Omen. Strange to have my uncle towering over me in the passage, shouting, "Hello, Johnny, what do you want?" He didn't know me. Strange to think he was my mother's brother, and that he had his bouts when he read Browning aloud with emotion and éclat. I was given tea in a narrow, uncomfortable sort of living-room, half-kitchen. Curious that such a palatial pub should show such miserable private accommodations, but so it was. There was I, unhappy and glad to escape with the soft, fat pup. It was winter-time, and I wore a big flapped black overcoat, half-cloak. Under the cloak sleeves I hid the puppy, who trembled. It was Saturday, and the train was crowded, and he whimpered under my coat. I sat in mortal fear of being hauled out for travelling without a dog ticket. However, we arrived, and my torments were for nothing. The others were wildly excited over the puppy. He was small and fat and white, with a brown and black head, a fox terrier. My father said he had a lemon head, some such mysterious technical phraseology. It wasn't lemon at all, but coloured like a field bee, and he had a black spot at the root of his spine. It was Saturday night, bath night. He crawled on the hearthrug like a white, fat teacup, and licked the bare toes that had just been bathed. "He ought to be called Spot," said one, but that was too ordinary. It was a great question what to call him. "Call him Rex, the king," said my mother, looking down on the fat, animated little teacup who was chewing my sister's little toe and making her squeal with joy and tickles. We took the name in all seriousness. Rex, the king. We thought it was just right. Not for years did I realize that it was a sarcasm on my mother's part. She must have wasted some 20 years or more of irony on our incurable naivete. It wasn't a successful name, really, because my father and all the people in the street failed completely to pronounce the monosyllable Rex. They all said Rax, and it always distressed me. It always suggested to me seaweed and rack and ruin. Poor Rex. We loved him dearly. The first night we woke to hear him weeping and whinnying in loneliness at the foot of the stairs. When it could be borne no more, I slipped down for him, and he slept under the sheets. "I won't have that little beast in the beds. Beds are not for dogs," declared my mother callously. "He's as good as we are," we cried, injured. "Whether he is or not, he's not going in the beds." I think now my mother scorned us for lack of pride. We were a little infra-dig, we children.